welcome to my very first knitting podcast. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, but I've just never actually done it. So this might be a little bit rambly and I might be a little bit nervous, but hopefully you can look past that as it's my first time doing this. My name is Charlotte and I live in Denmark, and I've been knitting for just about 2 years now. First of all, what I'm wearing is my ivy sweater. It's a hacked pattern in the sense that I knit the ivy blouse last year and the ivy top. So when Petite Knit started teasing the ivy sweater, I just kind of fell in love and I didn't want to wait. So what I did is I followed the pattern from the ivy blouse, which I'd already bought, and then I kind of used the gauge from the ivy top and moved some things around and just tried it on a few times during the making of it, and I really love it. So then I just want to move into the finished objects, and I've done quite a few. I didn't really know how many to consider in this episode, so I've just picked some of the projects that I completed since April, and hopefully that'll be okay. Okay, so the first project that I finished was this Anchor's sweater baby, and if it's not obvious, I'm currently pregnant and I'm expecting my first child, and it's gonna be a little baby boy. Which I'm really excited about. And then for my Instagram reveal for friends and family, etc., I wanted to knit something baby related to kind of tell everyone that we were expecting a child. So I knit this Anchor sweater in the size 3 to 6 months, and it's in Pirgint color 9572 moss green melange, and it looks like this. And so the yarn from this was actually a leftover yarn from the zipper sweater light, which I knit for my husband as his Christmas present. So I really wanted for them to be able to match, kind of wear it at the same time, which is why I knit it in a 3 to 6 months, because then he'll be able to wear it in the winter time, which would be suitable for when my husband can wear his zipper sweater. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. It's a pattern that I've knit a couple of times. I really like the pattern of the rib pattern on the top of the sweater. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it didn't take long to knit at all. It's very fast knit. I think it's on maybe 4mm needles, so it just yeah, went really fast. The next thing I finished was the Ellen's Coming Home set, which I have a little bit mixed feelings about. I love the pattern. It's by Petite Knit. And I knit it in the size 1 to 3 months because I didn't really want to knit anything in the newborn 0 to 1 month, because I just kind of feel like that's a waste of time in case he's a little bit bigger when he comes out. So, and I haven't sewn in any buttons for this yet. But this is the sweater, and it kind of goes across like this and then down, and then you have to put buttons all the way down here. And it's a 3-piece set, so I have the cardigan, the bonnet, which I'm actually not too sure about the fit of this, because it just kind of looks a little bit weird, like it goes back all the way here, and it seems maybe a little bit short around the rib edge, but I knit it exactly to pattern, so I don't know, it might just be me. And then I have the tights as well, which for these I just need to sew in the elastic. I've just left a hole for that, but as I was knitting this, we were moving. We just bought this house 2 months ago. So we were in the process of moving, and I packed down my sewing machine, which is why I haven't put in the elastic yet. But the thing, sorry, I'm out of breath because I'm pregnant. The thing that I don't like too much about this, I should mention that I've knit this in the same yarn as this one, so the soft tweed, in the color 21, and I'm not sure of the name. I think it's something like with water, quiet water or something, running water, I'm not sure. But I really enjoy the color. I think it's beautiful. I will say though, I have the worst rowing out on this that I've ever experienced since I started knitting. Like, even when I just started knitting, it wasn't this bad. So I'm not sure what actually went wrong. I kind of have a suspicion that because I was in the first trimester as I knit this, and I was really tired all the time, and I just kind of wanted to finish a baby garment for my son, I kind of have a feeling that I might have used the wrong needle size, or switched the needle sizes, because usually when I knit cardigans like this, and I knit anytime I knit back and forth, I would use a smaller, just a half a size down, needle size on the purl side to avoid rowing out. So I kind of have a suspicion, because it hasn't happened on these sleeves at all where I've knit in the round. So I kind of think I might have switched around the needle sizes, which is a little bit ridiculous, but I don't want to unravel this and knit it over again, because it's, I mean, he'll be able to fit it for, like, I don't even know, it's kind of very small. So maybe 1, maximum 2 months he'll be able to fit into this, and then I can just kind of give it away, which I feel okay doing that. I will say, in the pattern, I think this is one of the older patterns by Mette Petite Knit, because it doesn't have tubular bind off on the sleeves and on the edges in the pattern, which I kind of wish that I'd done anyway, but I just finished it the way that it's set in the pattern, and I kind of regret that a little bit, but as it is kind of stretchy enough anyway, and again, he won't be wearing it for a very long time, and it's the kind of thing that I notice, but most of the people in my life aren't knitters, so they might not notice. I just kind of feel like it would be a waste of time to undo it and then redo the cast off edge. So I'm not gonna do that. I just need to add some buttons, and then this will be a finished object, or 3 finished objects, I guess. So my next project is one that I'm extremely proud of. It's one of my favorite projects I think that I've ever done, and it's the Umma, or Umma, I'm not sure, sweater by AGO Knits, and it looks like this. It looks kind of weird because it's been folded up in my closet for a while, but it has this kind of crossover detail, which actually I bought this pattern a very long time ago, and then I didn't knit it for a while. And then when I found out I was pregnant this winter, I decided to cast this on because it's breastfeeding friendly, because you can kind of access the boobies pretty easily in this sweater. Design wise, I'm extremely happy about the 2x2 rib. I think it's prettier than 1x1 rib, and I kind of prefer that on nicer sweaters. I also really love the yarn choice. I used the Drops Flora in color 35, Midnight Shadow, and Drops Kid Silk in color 65, also Midnight Shadow. And it's just, oh, sorry. It's just really pretty, and I like that the 2x2 rib detail follows all the way down the sleeve. I don't know if you can see this. This doesn't look very good on camera, but I promise you it's really nice, and it has a very lovely drape. It's also an in-between kind of warmth, so which makes it really good for the Danish climate, because I can use it on a cold day in the summer, but I can also use it on a warmer day in the winter and everywhere in between, which is nice. I loved doing the neckline construction. It was different from anything that I've done before, and it was just kind of fun to try to do something else. I will say though, I haven't knit a lot of cardigans because I don't like knitting back and forth, and for this one you have to knit back and forth all the way except for the sleeves, which is a lot of knitting back and forth, but it was worth it. And I've worn it I think maybe 3 or 4 times in the spring when I just had a little bump, and the bump was like kind of peeking out a little once in a while, which I thought was really cute. I'm not wearing it now because it's summer, and even though it's a very rainy and gloomy day today, it's been a pretty hot summer for Denmark, at least. Next thing I knit was also one of those things where I had to consider my pregnancy and my future as a mom, and hopefully as a breastfeeding mom. So what I did was I knit the mist sleeves, which they look kind of like this. So this is the kind of thing that you just wear over your head like this, and then you put your arms into the sleeves, and it sits really nicely. And I found this, I saw, I think it was, yeah, Oline, the Norwegian knitter. She knit this as a part of her wedding, sorry, I have fluff, as a part of her knitting or a wedding ensemble. And I just thought it was really beautiful and I loved it, but I thought, you know, I'm never gonna wear that. I don't know, it's not my style or whatever. But then again, I got pregnant and I thought I really wanted to knit on something that I can actually wear whilst being pregnant, because I've been very limited in my knitted wardrobe, or in my wardrobe in general, to be honest. So I made this, and I've worn it once, which was, it's okay, but it looked really nice, and I got a lot of compliments on it, and it's very flattering. But it's just one of those things where it's too nice to wear. It's too nice to wear on a normal weekday, I think. But it looks really nice over a dress or anything with straps, I think. So yeah. So I knit this in a size 2, and the pattern suggests using either 3 strands of the soft silk mohair by Knitting for Olive, I think, or the single ballerina chunky by Santa's Garn. And instead I used 2 strands of the alpaca silk by Drops, because it was the leftover yarn that I had and I didn't really know what to use it for, and I really liked the color. I like green a lot, as you can probably tell in my background. I'm very drawn to any shade of green. So yeah, I just thought it would fit in pretty nicely in my wardrobe. Maybe I'll wear it more in the autumn time when it's a little bit cooler than it is right now. So yeah. Next thing that I knit was just a very quick and fast bandana, which is, it's called the Italian bandana by an Italian knitter. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's just garter stitch and yarn overs, which is how you make the pattern. And it took me, basically I needed a project. I was going to Copenhagen with work for 3 days of design in June, and I needed a small project that I could knit on in the car that wouldn't take up a lot of space in my bag. And the drive to Copenhagen from where I live is about 4 hours there and then 4 hours back, or maybe it's three and a half, something like that. And I cast it on just the evening before, and I just did the first pattern repeat so that I knew it, so I could kind of knit on it without having to look at the pattern all the time. And then I finished it on the car ride home. So it took maybe about 8 to 10 hours in total to knit this, which was very fast and very cute, and I've worn it a lot during the very sunny and hot days that we've had here in Denmark, because I like that it kind of protects your scalp from the sun. That's why I enjoy wearing it. But yeah, and I think it's really cute. I wanted a bandana, so I went on Ravelry and I just searched for free patterns, because I thought it would be, I mean, I wasn't sure that I was gonna wear a bandana, so I didn't want to knit, I didn't want to pay for a pattern. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and I like how it looks. And I knit this in drop spell in the color Dandelion, and it just took 1 ball, a little less than 1 ball to knit, which was nice. So yeah, that's what that is. Okay. So I've knit more accessories this summer than I think I've ever knit before. And again, it kind of leans into the fact that you can't really wear a lot of knitwear when you're heavily pregnant. I mean, you can if you knit it in the right size, but I don't want to wear, or I don't want to knit anything that I can only wear while being pregnant, because that would be a waste of time. So, but I was going to a wedding this month, and I needed a bag, and I just needed a small black bag, and I didn't have one. And I didn't want to buy one. And I thought, you know, I can just knit one, because I had leftover baby merino from a project that I did, one of the first knitting projects that I ever did, actually. So yeah, sorry for looking down all the time. But I knit this bag in a broken rib pattern. I basically started out with Judy's Magic Cast On, and then I just knit broken rib in the round all the way to the top. Then I cast off pretty tightly because I didn't want the bag to be gaping. And as I did the cast on, I put, I think I put 4 stitches on hold on the one side, and then I cast off all the way to the other side. And with the last 4 stitches here, I did an I-cord, and I just did that all the way around, and then I sewed it down into the stitches that I had on hold. So this is what it looks like. It's perfect size for basically what you need as a wedding guest, which is your phone and a lipstick and a few other things. And yeah, I'm thinking that I'm gonna use this a lot in the future. And if I don't, it kind of doesn't matter, because it was just leftover yarn that I've had in my stash for about 2.5 years. So yeah, but that's my little black bag, and I might add a zipper in the future, but I don't know yet. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, so this next project, I'm not too sure what to say. to be honest. It's the Hannah sweater by Petite Knit, and I think it's just kind of like everything that could go wrong went wrong on this sweater. Firstly, I want to mention that I knit it in Pure Gynt in the color 4228. It's just called red. And it's a very true red, which is exactly what I wanted, and I love the color, and I think it's gonna be really nice for autumn time and Christmas time. But basically what I did was when I cast this on and I was looking at the sizes, I'm pretty sure I just kind of noted down the wrong size in my head from the start. So I actually knit this in a size XL, which is why it's just completely like massive. It's so big. And even as I am a bit more than 7 months along in my pregnancy, it's just huge. For the neckline, I kind of forgot. So every time I knit a Petite Knit pattern, I need to go up half a needle size to hit gauge, because I think she's a very loose knitter and I'm a pretty tight knitter. But for the neckband, I'm pretty sure the pattern calls for needle size 3 millimeters, and I used the 3 millimeter needle, and I guess I should have gone with a 3.5 or at least 3.25, because I think the neckband is just really tight, and I know that it's supposed to go up pretty high on your neck, but even though I really try to stretch it out as I'm blocking it, it just, I don't know, it just looks weird. But it might just be me, it might just be because the size is too big in general, and then the neckline seems small because it has too much positive ease. I'm not sure. So basically what I've decided is I'm not gonna rip it back again yet. I'm gonna wait until I'm not pregnant anymore, and then I'm gonna try it on, and I'll see if it's something that I can fix in the wash, or if maybe it doesn't look ridiculous when I'm not pregnant, or if I should just rip it all back and start over, which I really don't want to do, but I might have to do because I really want this sweater for Christmas. So the next thing that I knit or finished was the Holger cardigan, which is also for my son, and I knit this a few sizes up. So I went for a size, I think, is it like 6 to 9 months or something? And I did that purposely because I did that on purpose because I didn't want to knit just a bunch of baby things, and then when I give birth I might not have enough time to knit anything else for him for a while. So I wanted just a few different things that he can wear throughout the first year. But I think, I mean, the amount of positive ease on this cardigan is kind of ridiculous for this size, for the age. So what I did was I extended the sleeves and I extended the body just a little bit. So I might think, I mean, this might not fit him until he's about a year old. Or maybe I can put it on him when he's like in between and just roll up the sleeves, and then he can wear it for a lot longer. But I just want to say I really enjoyed knitting this, and I think it's a beautiful pattern, and it made me want to buy the Olga sweater pattern as well, and knit one for myself maybe. The Holger sleeves, or the Holger cardigan, doesn't have striped sleeves. It actually has different colors kind of all around and just one color sleeves. But I really wanted it to look very nice, and because of that I went with the striped look because I just thought it would look a little bit more sleek. And I did the neckline, the button band, and all of the rib details in the same color as the blue stripes. So I knit this in Drops Charisma, and this is actually when I kind of realized that I had a lot of superwash yarns in stash. I'm not gonna buy more superwash, I think, ever in the future. I hadn't realized that you could have, it would lead to, that there would be an issue with microplastics. So I kind of wish that I hadn't knit this in Drops Charisma, because it's a superwash yarn, but going forwards I'm not gonna buy more, but I am gonna knit from the yarn that I have in stash, anything superwash. So you will see more superwash on my channel going forwards, but just know that I'm not buying anymore. I haven't yet added buttons on this because I wasn't sure which buttons to go for, but I think I've chosen some just like standard wooden buttons that I already have, and I just need to sew those on here. Okay, so this is my last finished object for this month, and these are the Sunday socks, and I haven't blocked them yet because I never block socks because I kind of feel like your feet are the best sock blockers, which that sounds weird when I say it like that, but anyway, I used the Drops Fiesta in the color Berries and Cream. Again, I know this is a superwash yarn, but I hadn't realized at the time that I bought them, and I have more in stash, so I'm just gonna use it. But yeah, I don't know what to say. It's a pretty simple pattern. It's a 2x2 rip all the way down on the foot, and then you just knit flat on the underside of the foot and on the toe. It's a top-down construction, and as I was knitting these, well, when I knit the first sock, it had started off on the kind of white base here, and I knitted all the way down. Actually, I think this was the first one. So I started off on the white, and then when I got to knitting the second sock, and I think I had like maybe 3 grams left over, 4 grams or something left over on this sock. And then I started knitting the other one, and it started way further up with the white. So they just looked kind of a little bit off. So what I did was I just knit it longer so that the pattern would follow. So the pattern would be the same on both socks. I don't know if that makes sense. Because I really want them to look the same all the way down. And then when I finished them, I picked up around the 2x2 rib, and then I just knit it going from down here up until I ran out of yarn. So that's how I got them to be the same, but it also means that I have just one row where the knitting or the knits and the purls look a little different. It's kind of the best that I could do, and I didn't want to completely unravel and frock them and do the socks all over again, because they're just socks. So but yeah, I really enjoy these. I think they're very cute, nice color. I knit this in a size, actually I knit them in the 40, I think it's called 41 to 42, but then I went down a needle size because I feel like socks on a needle size 4, it just kind of, I feel like I can feel the texture of the sock on the underside of my foot, which I don't like. And when I go down to a 3.75, I don't have that issue. So I went up size on the sock and down a quarter of a needle size. And I really like the result. I will say, now that I'm in my third trimester, I'm kind of getting the same symptoms that I had in the first trimester, and one of those symptoms is a very heightened sense of smell. And for these, or anything that's wool, it just kind of smells very sheepy to me, and it's a little bit off-putting. So I'm very excited for that to be over when I've given birth, because I really enjoy knitting, and in most of my first trimester I couldn't knit anything wool at all. So yeah, that's just one of the pleasures of being pregnant. Okay, so I feel like I've already been talking forever, and I've just gone through my finished objects, which means that I might have taken a few too many to show you this time, but hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. And now I'm gonna go into my current whips. So my first work in progress is this IVT, which is also a hecht pattern because I didn't want to buy any more of the Ivy patterns because I already own 2. So what I've done is I've just kind of cast on the amount of stitches I think from the Ivy blouse. I'm actually not sure exactly what I did, but I am knitting this on a needle size 4 or 4.5. No, it's needle size 4. I'm using drop spell in the color 11 Old Pink, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm actually not really a pink person, but I have been drawn to pink lately. So I just wanted this as just a normal t-shirt because I feel like I have so many sweaters and I want to knit more t-shirts that I can wear on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, so I've just split for sleeves and knit about 2 centimeters since then, and I kind of feel like I'm about halfway now because I don't want the sleeves to be too long, so this is gonna go by pretty fast, I think. So this is my car project. This is what I take with me every time I'm a passenger princess, because it's just round and round, or just knitting in the round, and it's so simple and easy, and I don't have to look down on my project, which means I won't get car sick. So that's why I cast this on at the time that I did. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. This is the Lyon sweater, which is also by Petite Knit, and this is one of the first patterns that I ever bought, and then I just never actually got around to knitting it. The Lyon sweater is supposed to have stripes, which I'm not doing the stripes, and I've also changed the neck a little bit, the neckline, because I was actually inspired by Sophie Knits Daily. She did a video about knitting sportswear and why we're not knitting our sportswear, and I really like going on hikes, so I want a sweater just dedicated for going on walks and hikes and stuff. So I thought 100% merino wool, just very simple sweater would be very nice for that. I chose this pattern because of the gauge and because it didn't have a lot of positive ease, which is what I really wanted, because I want to be able to wear it under a jacket or under another wool sweater, and just over a simple t-shirt or something like that. Yeah, I've never done this construction before, which is kind of, it's a little bit weird. So it begins like a drop shoulder where you knit just a little bit of the back panel, and then you pick up for the front and knit down a little bit further, and then you pick up the sleeves as you go along, and then you start knitting in the round, which I've never done that before, and I found it very entertaining. I will say though, it does leave a lot of ends to weave in, and especially as I'm using a yarn that I can't splice the ends on, I have a lot of ends to weave in when I'm done. But so far I'm at the raglan increases. I haven't split for sleeves yet, but I'm just knitting on this once in a while when I feel like it, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm knitting this in the Drops Merino Extra Fine in the color 37, and I think it's called something about mist. Let me see. Misty Forest, I think it's called. And now that I'm knitting with this, I've never knit with this yarn before, I think, at least. And I'm not really enjoying it because it's very bouncy, it's very stretchy, and I find that it causes a little bit of rowing out, and also it's just it's a little bit more difficult to keep the tension because it's so like bouncy or stretchy. I don't know how else to explain it. It's very soft, but I also have a feeling that it might pill very easily because the fibers are almost too soft, but I don't know. I mean, it's so incredibly nice. I mean, I know that I'm gonna love wearing it, but I think it's gonna look not very nice after a short amount of time, but we'll see. I've just done a simple double folded neckband, and what I do when I make the double folded neckband, when I knit it down, I only knit down the knit stitches, and then I just close the purl stitches purlwise, because I feel like it makes the neckband a lot more stretchy if you don't knit down both the knits and the purls. I don't know if that makes sense, but it looks exactly the same as if I had knit down both the knits and the purls. But I just feel like it makes the neckband a lot more stretchy. And I did 2 rounds of double knitting at the middle section here to make the fold. I feel like doing 3 times double knitting makes it a lot more visible, and it's not necessary. So yeah, but I am enjoying knitting on this. I love the color. Again, it's a sort of green, as you can see, that I really like. And yeah, I have nothing else to say. So my next project is one that I'm really enjoying knitting on. I just cast this on a little less than a week ago, and I'm a bit more than halfway finished. So this is the Twin Sails blanket, and the designer is Aileen Molina, I think is her name. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's a baby blanket for my son. I really wanted something that had a texture, but I didn't want to make a lace pattern because I kind of feel like it does tend to lean a little bit more feminine, and I wanted it to be very gender neutral. So I went with this Twin Sails pattern, which looks like this. It just consists of knits and purls. You start off with a moss stitch edge, and then you do the moss stitch on the sides. The first, I think it's 6 stitches on both sides, and then you just do this same pattern repeat all over of knits and purls, and you knit as many knits as you purl, or you have just as many knits and purls on each round, but it doesn't feel like you're purling as much because it's not like you're doing back and forth where you purl a full row, and it's also not like a rib where it's kind of very monotonous and you can't really tell how far you're going. So I guess I would say it's a very potato chippy project, I think it's called, where you just kind of want to complete the next triangle in the next and the next and the next, which means I've spent a lot of time knitting on this this last week. But yeah, I'm almost halfway, or I'm a bit more than halfway finished. It's also knit on a needle size 6, which makes it go pretty fast. And I'm knitting this in Drops Nepal in the color 100. I think it's called Nature. and it's just the unbleached white. And I actually bought this yarn for another sweater, the Serena sweater, which is it started off as a UFO, and then now I've actually unraveled it because I kind of feel like either I made a mistake or there's a mistake in the size that I'm knitting in the pattern, and I just didn't want to deal with that. I was also knitting on it going into spring, and I kind of feel like it would be more motivating to knit on it going into winter, because I feel like I would wear it more in the winter because it's a very, very warm alpaca yarn. Yeah, so I've decided to just use this yarn for the blanket instead. And so far I think this is I think I've knit 4 or 5 balls of yarn on this, and I'm spit splicing, so I don't have any ends except for the cast on end and the cast off end, which would be in the end of the pattern, but or in the end of the project. But I'm pretty sure this is gonna take me 9 or 10 balls of yarn in total. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that one because it's fast, and I like knitting things that don't take a lot of time. Okay, so this next project is actually a self-draft, I guess you can say. Or, I mean, it is. But basically my inspiration was I really wanted a gilet or a vest like the ones that Patagonia make. So the fleecy, very nice, like outdoorsy material vests with a zipper, but I couldn't find a pattern for it, so I thought, you know, I'm just gonna make one myself. And so far I've just come to 5 centimeters below splitting for sleeves. So this is what it looks like so far. I am knitting this in drops Puna in the color brown, and the drops Alpaca Boucle also in the color brown. So they blend in very nicely together. And what I'm thinking of doing is I think I'll do like an I-cord edge around the sleeves, and then I'll just do a pretty high neck in 2x2 or 1x1 rib, and then I'll sew in a zipper going all the way down when I'm finished with the body. So yeah, this is what it looks like so far. It doesn't look like much, but I actually think it's gonna be very nice. And if this goes well, I might make it into a pattern if anyone's interested. So far I'm just calling it my bonfire gilet because that's kind of the vibe that it's giving me, like sitting around a fire and like being in the woods. I don't know, it just seems like something that will be very nice to wear in nature. But this is knit on, I think it's needle size 5.5, so it's going pretty fast also. But I haven't knit on this for a couple of weeks because we've had a heat wave in Denmark, and we've had up to like 37 degrees, which is the hottest that it's ever been in Denmark, which kind of worries me a little bit. And it definitely wasn't very nice being heavily pregnant during a heat wave. But now that it's cooled down just a little bit, I think I'll pick this back up. This is my last like active whip, I guess, and it doesn't really look like much yet because it's I think it's called the Baby Bear Bonnet by Knitting for Olive, is it? Yeah, by Knitting for Olive. And I've done the what's it called, like pearl bumps, I guess, cast on. or first edge, so it didn't do the rib, just did this edge instead. And then I am making the increases for the sleeves, but because it's knit flat so far, it just kind of, it doesn't look like a hat for a baby, but it will be. And I'm knitting this in leftover yarn from another project. It's baby merino in the color 42 petroleum, I'm not sure. And yeah, I just really want to use up this yarn, and I thought it would be a good yarn to use as a substitute for the yarn that is recommended in the pattern, which is, I think it's like kit silk, or it's soft silk mohair and a merino, yeah, the merino from Knitting for Olive, and those two combined gives about the same weight as this one, which is why I'm just not knitting it with a mohair. I'm also not sure about using mohair for a baby. I don't know why, but I kind of have a feeling that it might be a little bit too itchy, or the baby's skin might be a little bit too sensitive, so I didn't want to put that around the face. Yeah, but I'm not sure. So this is what I'm using this yarn for, and I think I'll knit, I think I'll finish this pretty soon because it is going pretty fast, but I'm definitely not really enjoying knitting on this because it's on needle size 3.5, and you knit going back and forth, which I don't enjoy too much because then you have to, every other row is just a complete purl row. But I think the end result would be really cute. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna knit it again. We'll see. Maybe. And then I just have a UFO that I wanted to show you. I started knitting on this last year in the summer. So, and it's been on hold since I think September, where I haven't really touched it at all. But basically it started out by, I went on my honeymoon this last August, and we went to Italy, and I bought this yarn, which is the DMC Natura linen in the color 134, and I just really love this yarn. So again, it's pink, and I'm not really a pink person, but maybe I'm becoming a pink person, I'm not sure. It's 58% linen, 26% viscose, and 16% cotton, which is a very nice summery blend. And I'm pretty sure I've knit 3 balls, and I think I bought five balls of this. So what I decided to cast on with this yarn is the camisole number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it's an all over broken rib pattern with increases and decreases, making these nice details around the bust. And it's been a while since knitting on this, but I just remember that I didn't enjoy knitting on it at all. I really enjoy how the yarn looks in the skein, but a few different reasons why I'm not enjoying this. So firstly, the yarn doesn't have any stretch, which makes it pretty hard on the hands. Secondly, it has like places where the yarn is a little bit thicker, and then places where it gets a little bit thinner, which makes it look just like not as neat, I guess, as it could be. I mean, it kind of just looks like I'm not very good at the tensioning, but I actually think that I'm pretty good with tensioning my yarn. It just kind of looks a little bit weird, but I think because of the broken rib, I can sort of get away with it. I think if I just did this flat, it would look worse, maybe. But basically, the reason why I stopped working on this is because we went into September, and I thought, you know, I'm not gonna wear this if I finish it in like September or October. I'm not gonna wear it until the summer. So I thought, you know, I'm just gonna put it down and then pick it back up in April or May maybe. And then this December I got pregnant. So then I was like, I'm not gonna knit on this if I can't try it on, because I kind of want to make sure that it fits very nicely around like the bust and the waist. So, and I'm due in the beginning of September, so now I just kind of feel like I might just leave this until next spring, or I might finish it in September. But I just kind of feel like it's the kind of I don't know what to say. It's the kind of pattern where you want to really pay attention, and I'm not sure if it's suited to knit on when you have a small baby. So yeah, I'm just leaving it as a UFO for now, but I do think it looks nice, and I'm excited to wear it maybe next year. We'll see. But yeah, that's my one UFO, which has been a UFO for almost a year now. And that was also my last whip or UFO, I guess, that I wanted to show you. So now I'm just gonna go into a few acquisitions. The first thing I want to show is this merino from Knitting for Olive. I have two colors, so this is the pea shoot and this is wheat, and I just got these 3 balls of yarn as a part of my Christmas present from my sister, and I'm really excited to knit something with these 3 colors. The only thing that I don't know is what the heck I'm going to knit, because firstly I wanted to knit something for the baby, but then I'm also thinking, you know, this yarn is really nice, so I kind of want to knit something for myself. So I might turn this into a striped top, just a fingering weight standard top, maybe the Bea by Petite Knit. I'm not sure, I don't know if that's fingering weight, but this has 250 meters per 50 grams. So I should be able to get a full top out of this, I think. But yeah, I'm not sure what to knit with it yet. But I really enjoy the 3 colors together, or the 2 colors together. And the second thing that I got is these 4 balls of the Caring Freya yarn. It's 97% recycled cashmere and 3% recycled wool. And this is from Selfmade, which is Scandinavian like crafting store. They have mostly stuff for sewing and like a lot of textile, and then they also have a little bit of yarn, and this is their own brand, I think. And it doesn't actually say a color on this, a color name. It just says lot 3. But it was, I think it's discontinued, and that's why it was on sale. So I just bought 4 balls because I thought I might use this for like a small scarf or maybe a hat, I'm not sure. I don't actually know what to knit with it, but I just couldn't pass it up because it's cashmere and it looked really nice and I love the color, and it was cheap, so that's why I bought them. Okay, so that was everything for my first ever podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and please give me any feedback in the comment section down below. I would very much appreciate it. I know this was a pretty long podcast, or at least I think so, but that's how I enjoy them when I watch other people's podcasts, because it gives a good time to do some knitting. And yeah, that was everything for now. So let me know if you have any questions, and otherwise please go follow me on Instagram if you would like. It's at woolstate or at underscore woolstate. Yeah, that was it. Thank you for watching. Bye.